It's time now for Ringside Report, a look at what's up in the sport of boxing and some interesting things going on this week. Superb Pernell. Was Mr. Whitaker good? We'll talk about that. Little big fight. Yeah, a couple of little guys that are pointing toward a very big showdown. And a triple dip. 3 fights coming up on the 27th of May in Las Vegas. Let's talk first, Al, about Pernell Whitaker. He got it on with Santos Cardona. Cardona really gave him everything he wanted. He fought his heart out. But I'll tell you what, Pernell Whitaker is as good as he has ever been.
After a pretty long period of inactivity, Pernell Whitaker got in against Santos Cardona and actually may have given the very best boxing performance he has ever given in his professional career. You take a look at it here. Santos Cardona came to win, Barry. He did everything right you can do, and yet Whitaker outlanded him 3-1. And amazingly, Cardona threw over 800 punches, but missed over 600.
All right, a fight coming up, and a fight that just happened. Tracy Harris-Patterson. Tracy Harris-Patterson wound up with a victory. That kept his title, and Kennedy McKinney has a fight upcoming against Welcome Nikita. Should he win that fight, I think that's really going to be an outstanding matchup if they can make it between Patterson and McKinney.
It could very well be Tracy Harris-Patterson beating Richard Duran, defending his WBC Super Bantamweight title. And as you mentioned, Kennedy McKinney taking on Welcome Nikita to defend his Super Featherweight Championship in the IBF. It's the same weight division, folks. Don't get confused. And I think it'll be a great fight if those guys get together. Patterson, a little bit more of the boxer. Kennedy McKinney, who's a boxer puncher, probably with the edge and power.
Yeah, but you know, we should talk about first things first, and first things first for Kennedy McKinney is Welcome Nikita.
Yeah.
He's pretty tough.
He is indeed. McKinney has beaten him once before in a tremendous match. That's why they're making it again. That fight is this weekend, and it will not be easy for Kennedy McKinney to get past that. But that's a young man who, remember, had drug problems after he won the Olympic gold medal. If Kennedy McKinney can keep on the track he's on, though, he may be one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world today.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that, as a matter of fact. That fight, incidentally, moved from South Africa to Texas. We talked about a triple dip. Triple dip about which we are speaking has not yet been officially announced, but it takes place on the 27th of May. It'll be at the MGM in Las Vegas.
Yeah, De La Hoya against Giorgio Campanella defending his WBO junior lightweight title. Roy Jones in a mandatory against Thomas Tate. And Rafael Ruelas taking on Carl Griffith defending his lightweight title. So it should be interesting. A couple of guys there that, especially Ruelas and De La Hoya, who may be facing each other pretty soon.
Well, every week we take a look at an upcoming fight and kind of dissect that one a little bit. Our future fight this week is the one between Lennox Lewis and Phil Jackson. Now, not too many people know much about Phil Jackson, but I don't think it matters about the opponent. I think Lennox Lewis has some questions to answer about Lennox Lewis.
His last two performances have been dismal. This was his good performance when he beat Razor Ruddock. And Lennox Lewis showed us the power that he had that made him ultimately get a championship that he was awarded by the WBC. But in his last two fights, especially his last fight against Frank Bruno, his skills have eroded, Barry. And so even though Phil Jackson is a journeyman who may not give him that much of a test, what we're going to look for is, how about the skills of Lennox Lewis? What does he look like in this bout?
Yeah, and Phil Jackson, as you said, is a journeyman. Nobody really knows how much he's going to give Lennox Lewis, but it's Lennox Lewis that has the questions to answer about himself. Well, we talked a moment ago about pound for pound, and it wasn't too many years ago that when you referred to the best fighter pound for pound, it was Julio Cesar Chavez and then everybody else. Right now, I think you might be saying that about the guy we spoke of a few moments ago, Pernell Whitaker.
That's our hot topic for tonight. And, you know, I don't think there's any doubt now that Pernell Whitaker is the best fighter pound for pound. He beat Julio Cesar Chavez, whatever the judges say. Chavez has since lost to Frankie Randall. And I think Pernell Whitaker has shown that as far as skills, he is the best and getting better even at a higher weight.
So if not Pernell Whitaker, then who? And now the list starts. And I guess maybe it starts with a guy we've spoken of on numerous occasions, James Toney. Better and better as a champion.
He has fought extremely well now as a super middleweight. He's got some challenges ahead against the likes of Roy Jones, who might also be considered, and Prince Charles Williams, who he is going to fight in his next fight. He's a guy that some have said, actually, though, is starting to erode in terms of his skills. He, of course, will be the first to tell you that's not true, and I'm not one that believes they are eroding, but he is a guy also to be considered. Lots of names to think about.
Yeah, there really are. Azuma Nelson, Orlando Canizales, Junior Jones, who we've talked about, who still really has to make his mark. Of course, there's a number of people, and it's a debate that will go on as long as there is the sport of boxing. Well, that's a look at Ringside Report today. Next week, of course, we've got an outstanding fight upcoming. This one is for the IBF Junior Welterweight Championship. Jake the Snake Rodriguez comes off a very big win, but it's not going to get any easier for him.
Ray Oliveira, a very busy man, a tough guy to fight. Jake the Snake does not draw an easy card his first time out to defend the title.
Ray Oliveira, very tough customer, a guy who always seems to fight up to the level of his competition. That's next Thursday at 8:30. Well, coming up next for us, our main event. This one between Larry Donald and smoking Bert Cooper. Don't go away. A lot more boxing to come from Bay St. Louis. We'll be back.